Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Family Budget Fisherman. As I don't remember if I mentioned it in the prior video, but I'm publishing two videos because one of the videos is a special having to do with the business of fishing and the current conflict with some of the YouTube influencers. Yeah, I'm making this because this is the video that I really wanted to make. So that said, this, as you've read in the description, this is my 2020 rod and reel arsenal, or my tackle. No, not my tackle, but my rod and reel arsenal in particular. And I want to preface by making the point that, number one, I am a multi-species fisherman. And that's a little bit different than what most people do in this space. Most people are species specific. When I go fishing, even if for people who fish for multiple species, they don't go prepared to fish for multiple species. They will go 4 trout one day or one outing. They'll go 4 bass another outing, 4 stripers another outing, etc. Me, whenever I go fishing, I just go fishing. And I go fishing looking for any one of those species. If I see catfish, I'm gonna fish for the catfish. If I see bass, I'll fish for the bass. Crappie, bluegill, stripers. I fish for them all the time. I'm not specific to one style or one particular fish. If I happen to be out there and the rainbow trout are biting, I'm going for the rainbow trout or the salmon, what have you. So, having said that, my fishing equipment is set up for multi-species fishing. I'm going to do a separate video on multi-species, on my setups, my specific setups, so that you can see how I'm able to accomplish that in a given day. And for an example, some people, when they bass fish, they'll have a dedicated drop shot rod. I don't have a dedicated drop shot rod, but I drop shot. And I'm going to show you how I drop shot, where I'm able to switch on my worm rod here. I'm able to switch from the Texas rig to Carolina to drop shot with the same rod. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Also, I want to mention that all of my rods and reels are outfitted with Fins 40G. Now, I am not currently a sponsor. I look forward to one day having sponsors, or look forward to one day having some sort of a deal with any company that I'm discussing. But as of now, I've been throwing this line now. This is my 3rd year. In January 2017, at the same show I'm going to go to in a few hours, the International Sportsman's Expo, I actually met the owner. And I think I mentioned it passively in some of my prior videos, or at the very least in my 2019 rod and reel arsenal. I met the owners, and they were able to convince me to walk away from Power Pro. Okay, I think I still got some Slick 8 up there, but this is what my rods and reels are outfitted with. Okay, if I need leader material, I will go with either the 15-pound or the 20-pound Trilene fluorocarbon, 100% fluorocarbon. Number one, I've been throwing Trilene since I was a little kid, Trilene XL. And it's never, ever done me wrong, so I'll be using that. As far as going back to fins, I have 2 break strengths, 215 and 645. That is to say, the break strength on this is 45-pound break strength, but the diameter is the same as 6-pound mono. And this one, the break strength on this is 50, wrong one, is 15 pounds, but the diameter is 2-pound monofilament. And I'm just sharing that with you. So if you hear me say this is outfitted with 645 or 215, then you'll know exactly to which I'm referring. I will tell you that this is the best braided line on the market. No comparison. I'm going to do an entire video on fins fishing maybe next week. You'll see that. Okay, so let's get right along with it. I'm already few minutes behind schedule. I have 11 rods. The first 5 over here are my general practitioner rods. Okay, that is to say that when I throw any of these, I could, based on the bait, I could catch anything. So, for example, if I throw this half head, which is Berkeley's answer to the Ned rig in terms of the Ned rig hook, with this 3-inch curly tail on here, I can catch any of the species that I've already outlined. Crappie, bass, catfish, bluegill. Yes, I've caught bluegill, striper, anything on it, okay? And that will go for nearly all the baits that I have here, with very few exceptions. And one of those few exceptions is the chances of me catching a bluegill with this sweet beaver is very, very rare. But all the other species I can catch it with, and the jerk bait, the ripstop. They may get aggressive on this ripstop, but that's about it. And topwater or the chatterbaits. So, at any rate, my general practitioner rods are my rods that I will use to outfit with any number of lures. And then if I find an opportunity where, say, the bite is a worm bite, I will transition from one of my general practitioners to any one of my 6 specialists, you see. So you have your general and your specialists. Now, specialists will sound a lot more like what we're familiar with, a worm rod and a pitch and flip rod, etc. Okay? So the very first one is this is my Envy 2 Black 7'2" Envy. This is made by 13 Fishing. This is it's the Envy 2 Black, and I have it paired with the Creed 13, the 13 Fishing's Creed GT, the 3000 model, and I have to say, when I got the rod last year, I spent most of the year looking for an adequate pairing of this rod in terms of the reel. And quite frankly, I could not find something that satisfied me in terms of the specs of this reel. This reel has 11 bearings. It is 6:2-to-1 gear ratio. It has, I love the handle here. This is that soft, spongy type handle. I forget what it's called. It'll come to me in a moment. And of course, they're made by the same company, which is kind of an advantage there. And I love the rod. I mean, together, of course, we're talking about less than 3/4 of a pound altogether. And this is my general practitioner rod. This is my top, and this one has to do with, this is a heavier rod. This is a medium heavy fast action rod. So that means that I'm going to be throwing some of the heavier stuff. So it's going to be my chatterbaits. It's going to be my underspins. It's going to be me popping my tubes, my square bills. Yeah, this is a square bill. I might be throwing stuff like this. This is Yum's smaller craw, and that is a 1/8 ounce jig head there. I might be throwing this 2-inch tube with a 1/4 ounce in it, popping it real aggressively, or I'd even throw a Ned rig on there. It just depends. But it's going to be the heavier stuff more than the lighter stuff. Okay, so that's the 13 Fishing Envy 2 Black 7'2" medium heavy action spinning rod paired with 13 Fishing Creed GT 3000 11 bearing, and I think it has, the drag on this is 17 pounds of drag, and it sucks in about 35 inches per turn. That's good enough for me. Okay. The next rod is my Zodius rod. This is the Shimano Zodius, and it is also paired with 13 Fishing's Creed GT 3000. And this Shimano Zodius, I'm going to be throwing the lighter stuff. Now I'm going to pick up some similar jigs. So, you know, again, I can throw this just like I throw it on that heavier one. I can throw it on this. This is a medium action rod. And this is it 1/2 or 3/16? I think it is 3/16 to 1/2, 7 foot even. And I'm going to put, I told you my line selections for these. And again, this is going to be a general practitioner rod. I will hold my general practitioner rods more often than my specialty rods, just so that you know. It's just like you going to the doctor. Most of the time you go and see your primary care physician. Just think of this rod as that. I'm going to see my primary care physician. You don't often need to go see a specialist, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, or go see, specialist dealing with a particular pain area, with the legs or neck and all that kind of stuff, your knee, this is general practitioner right here, okay? And once again, it's a very light rod. I actually have 4 of these. You can't see them over there, but there are, here they go. I got 2 of them still in the pack and 1 out. This one's kind of dirty because I got to clean up my garage a little bit. You have no idea how dirty this garage is. But at any rate, one of these actually belongs to my wife, because when I bought them, she said, these rods are so pretty that I can't have all 4 of them. So I got 3, she has 1, and there you have it, okay? So there you go. Once again, this is the Shimano Zodius. Shimano Zodius rod, 7 foot medium action rod, paired with a 13 Fishing's Creed GT 3000. Okay. Next on the list is my Omen. You might be seeing a pattern for 13 Fishing. I'm not sponsored by them. I won't turn down any sponsorships, but I'm not sponsored by them. Okay, just so that you know. This is 13 Fishing's Omen series rod. This is a 7 foot 1 medium heavy action rod. The rating, the weight rating on this is 3/8 to 3/4. Once again, I'll be throwing some of the heavier stuff. Again, this will be paired with a Flooger Summit Xt. It's a discontinued reel. I got these at Bass Pro Shops. I bought a bunch of them at discount. I think they were like a $70 reel, and they discounted them out to like 40 or 50 bucks. And then I had some gift cards and discounts, and I got a real good price. So I got a couple of these. I should have gotten 4 or 5 of them, but I wasn't thinking as fast as I should have. But at any rate, that's what it's paired with, and it's got that spongy handle that I really, really like. It's very, very soft. There's a new version of this that just came out late last year. It is the Omen 3. This is the Omen 2 Black. I have 2 of these. The Omen 3 Black is the one that is now out, but they're beautiful rods, and they're going to do the job. This is going to be for, I will outfit them more with my reaction stuff. Now, I will note that this one actually has a leader on it. This one actually has a leader on it. Well, because it has a leader on it, I might do more of this style than anything. But again, it's got the Fin 645 already on there, and it's got the 20-pound test line there. And I'm going to have to show you my setups, because I have a snap here and I have a swivel on this side here. So there's a snap here as well. So we'll have to talk about that in a later video. General practitioner. All right, here we go again. This is the 13 Fishing medium fast. This is 13 Fishing Defy series. If you take a look at one of my earlier videos, I make a reference that the guys over at Tactical Bassing dealt with the bait cast model of this, but I have dealt with the spinning models of these, and I'm gonna tell you, I've had a fun time. I actually do an entire review of the Defy series rod, and I have it paired with the Lew's Speed Spin or Speed Stick reel, and it is a great reel. As a matter of fact, the Speed Spin reel. Again, it's 6:2 to 1 gear ratio. It's a 3,000, or theirs is called a 300 size. I think I have at least 200 hours using those. I actually have a review online with these as well. So check out my video dealing with that. I'll put the link in the description if I need to. But yeah, so this one has this Fin 645. It's got a leader on it. This is part of the general practitioner. So some of these, 3 of these are going to have leaders on them. 2 of them are not, primarily because I want to be able to throw top water baits, and I need to be able to have some of these without a leader so I can throw the top water baits just the same. But yeah, so that's this one right here. It's a 7'1", by the way, medium heavy, medium action. Now, her big sister. Yep. What a thunderous fall. The rods all fell down. Well, her big sister is the medium heavy version of that medium. And as you can see here, I have a chatterbait tied up with a Yum swim jig on swim bait on there. And this is just the line itself, Fin 645. The reel is the same. As you can see, the Lew's Speed Spin 300, and it's a great reel. This is the Defy Series Black 7-1 medium heavy. And that will round out our general practitioners, our starting 5. And I will use these first 5 to go after all of the fish that I'm looking for. I can catch any of the fish that I've just described to you earlier. Now down to the specific models. Down to the specific models. These are my specialist models. This is my worm rod. This is Ryder McGill's version, Skeet Signature Series rod. And I love this rod. Again, it has the Speed Spin, Lew's Speed Spin 300 reel on it. This is a 7-foot medium action. Is this medium or medium heavy? I think this is medium. This is a medium action rod. And it is actually a shaky head Senko rod. I don't know if you can see that there, but it actually says shaky head Senko rod. It's a 7-foot rod, and I love it. I really love it. I've done a lot of work on it. I've done a lot of work with this. And I actually have about, sitting over there, I think I got about at least 4 of them. I may have 5, but I know I have at least 4 of these. Just like the Defy Blacks, I got 3 medium heavies and 3 mediums. So that's my worm rod. And I'm going to skip over my crappie selections and go over to my flipping and pitching. So I have 2 specific rods for flipping, pitching, and frogging. Both of them do that. And I'll tell you in a moment how I decide which one will do what. So this is a 7-foot 6-inch medium light inshore select ugly stick. Okay. And it's, a medium. This is not medium light, it's a medium. Ugly stick. And just so that you know, the ugly stick is always going to be part of my rod arsenal. I mean, I've been throwing the ugly stick since I learned how to fish. These came out right when I was learning how to fish and getting good at it. So I'm always going to have an ugly stick in my arsenal, and several to boot. This one, I chose this one because I needed something with a little bit more backbone, or a little bit more flexibility I needed something to be a little bit more limber at the tip, even though it was a more stout rod, So this one, when I need the length for flipping and pitching, I can do that. I tend not to, as a power fisherman, as a power finesse fisherman, I tend not to go over 3/4 of an ounce when I'm flipping and pitching. And that's just because the waters that I fish, I don't need 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces of weight. I know that's an advantage the bait casters have, but it's not one that I have found necessary in the years that I've been fishing in the waters that I have fished. So, and people do those kinds of things. I know that Ish Monroe, for example, he doesn't use spinning rods at all. He told me last year that if I asked him if there, and this was at one of his Q&As at the Sportsman's Expo 2019, if there's ever a circumstance where the more finesse style fishing would be advantageous, and you have power rods, how do you do it? He said, well, I just switch up with what I have. Well, that's how I do. I just switch up with what I have. I may not go after those fish that may require for me to have 2 ounces of weight on one end, or be able to throw 8, 10, or 12-ounce swim baits. That's a specialized part of freshwater fishing that I have yet to learn to enjoy. Here is another one, and this is and I'll introduce the reels in a sec. This is the Ugly Stick, another inshore model, and this actually is now discontinued, and they've replaced it with the model that I just shared with you. This is a 7-foot inshore select, and I really loved it because it's a shorter rod. It's more stout at the tip. At 7 foot, I have it paired with, just as I have the other one, paired with the Daiwa Regal 2500 series reel. Now this reel is also discontinued, but at the time, they were discounting them for like 60 or 70 bucks down to about 30 or 40, and then I bought 10 of them. And I still have some over there in the box. You probably can see it up there. I think I got 3 or 4 still left in the box, and the rest of them are paired with rods. And I bought them, I want to say 9 or 10 years ago, and I'm still using them. They're great reels. So, they're 10 bearings, 5:2-to-1 gear ratios, a little bit slower than what I've upgraded to in terms of gear ratios, but they have, the drag systems are 15-pound drag systems. That's about all that I need. And then, of course, I'm sporting the Fin 645 on here. And this is my primary frog rod, and that one is my pitching and flipping rod. And the way that I choose them is this. If I'm out fishing and I can only have enough room to take one of these 2 rods, I take this one, and it does all my flipping, pitching, and frogging. If I bring both of the rods, then that one does flipping and pitching, and this one does dedicated frog rod. That's really how I make the distinction as to how I use them. I've got 2 of these. I only have one of those because by the time I got that one, I realized that form of fishing I don't do as often as I would like. So there's no need for me to invest as much as others might invest in that style of fishing. Now, to get back to my crappie rods. So I have several crappie rods. I have and I'm just randomly picking these up. This is the 7'6" medium light Ugly Stick. The rating on here is 1/8 to 5/8. This is as you can see, it's outfitted with a 1/8 ounce Gamakatsu short shank hook, and I have the 15-pound fluorocarbon leader, and it is attached to fins 215. Okay, and this is a custom reel that I had made for me about 3 years ago, because at the time I was interested in producing reels, and so For 3 years, it's handled itself. I could have swapped this for bass, but I've chosen it for crappie because that was where my mind was at the time. It's a great reel, and I'm gonna keep on using it. The next one is the little sister, the 7-foot model of that 7.6 model. And this is it's also a medium light. This is rated at 1/8 to 1/2. Everything else is the same in terms of the line, the custom reel that I shared with you. This is the 7-foot, where the other one that I just held was a 7.6. This is a 7-foot. Sometimes when I'm casting, I just need that extra 6 inches. And if those of you who are who fish a lot, maybe not so much if you're new in fishing, but if you've fished a long time, you know the difference that 6 inches can make in terms of casting and overall performance. So this is the 7-foot of that. Next is my 12-foot crappie rod. I'm just going to take this off real quick. And this is a Crappie Hunter by Shakespeare. We're not quite at Ugly Stick, but we're close enough. I got 3 of these. It's outfitted with an Akuma. This is the Akuma Stratos, and it is a 2000 series reel. Does great work out there. The drag system, I think, is about 9 or 10 pounds, but this is a crappie rod. So, and it's a specialty rod. So, and it's outfitted with 215 with a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. And this, when I need to reach out and touch, when I'm standing on the bank and I need to get that length, but not necessarily cast, or if I'm in a boat and I need to get on the other side of the brush, the other side of the tree, and I don't have the wherewithal, maybe it's not enough room to go around on the back. Like I said, I fish a lot of sloughs, a lot of sloughs. So what I tend to get are products that can be effective in those back sloughs. Okay. So these 11 rods comprise my rod and reel arsenal of 2020. And let me know what you think. Tell me what you think about my composition. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a review on the Fins fishing line, and then another video I'm going to talk to you a lot more about the rigs and how I set them up. So let me know what you think in the description below, in the comment section rather below. I'm very interested to know what you think of my selection, because I know this is kind of a niche that I found in the YouTube fishing. The way I fish is not typical. So tell me if it works for you. And lastly, always, always, always focus on doing your personal best when you're out there without breaking your family budget. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.